Ronald Reagan once said, "Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction." According to the U.S. debt clock, the United States is nearly $18 trillion in debt. 18 trillion. When I was in middle school, they didn't teach me how to count that high. I can't necessarily comprehend that kind of number. But according to the Blaze, nearly $5 trillion of that debt is owed to foreign creditors such as Japan and China. If you go and buy a car, $30,000 car, and finance $10,000 of it, and don't pay back your bills, eventually the bank's going to come and take the car. It's their bank. I mean, it's their car. The article that the Blaze has goes on later to say that the federal debt is more manageable if the United States gets their long-term entitlement spending under control. Today I'm here to tell you that the United States should repeal the Affordable Care Act and replace it with the American Health Care Reform Act. Many of you will have encounters with the Affordable Care Act, whether you know it or not. This was as a taxpayer, as an individual who's getting health insurance coverage, or as an individual who's going to the doctor. Many of you actually probably know of the Affordable Health Care Act as its more popular term, Obamacare. Since 2010, when the Affordable Health Care Act passed, I spent several hours researching this bill, and I even read a copy of it in the LSUS library. I've worked for David Vitter for U.S. Senate, Bobby Jindal for governor, and I even helped Americans for Prosperity PAC, which deal with issues such as this. There are three main points in my speech as to why the Affordable Care Act should be repealed and replaced with the American Health Care Reform Act. My first main point is that Obamacare is a failure in policy and dangerous for America's future. My second point is that another plan is being considered that is gaining steam. It's called the American Health Care Reform Act. And my third main point is that the alternative plan works and benefits America as a whole. Now that you know my three main points, let's move on to my first main point. The first main point is that Obamacare is a failure in policy and dangerous for America's future. Let's start off with some polling. According to Rasmussen reports, 52% of likely voters are against the Affordable Care Act, while 42% of likely voters are for the Affordable Care Act. Congress is even leery of the Affordable Care Act. They don't know for sure if they want it. According to Politica, back in late 2013, several congressional officials met together about the possibility of exempting themselves from the Affordable Care Act. Think about it. The people who put this law in place for you and me are thinking about exempting themselves from it because they're scared of what it can do for them. This is a problem. According to USA Today, there is nearly 11,000 pages of the policy of the Affordable Care Act. Everything might not be known. Definitely everything was not known before the bill was passed. According to OpposingViews.com, there are 10 major problems with Obamacare, and I'll outline a few of those for you. The first major problem is that Obamacare looks to expand Medicare to 17 million Americans. The problem with Medicare is that only 1 out of 3 doctors actually accept Medicare. So you're putting more people into a system for less doctors, which will make the wait times just to go get a vaccine for your common cold, your common flu, much longer. It means people will be suffering for their flu. Typically for the flu, for example, it takes 48 hours to get over the flu if you have Tamiflu. The second point that it illustrates is that this bill will increase $1.68 trillion in spending over the next 10 years, but it'll still leave 30 million Americans without insurance. So you're telling me the nation that's $18 trillion in debt is going to spend nearly $2 trillion more to help healthcare, but it's still going to leave 30 million Americans uninsured. Something about that doesn't sound like it's being accomplished right. Third main point is that the cost for young healthy adults such as you and I, is going to increase exponentially, just so the government can have a better chance to get us subsidized, meaning we can get more welfare, we can get food stamps, just because we have less money coming in. Now let's show my first main point. We move on to my second main point. The second main point is that there is a viable plan out there that's being considered named the American Health Care Reform Act. The path for this is not to simply just repeal the Affordable Care Act, because there was obviously a problem before. That's why they came out with a new plan. Instead, they're going to replace it with the American Health Care Reform Act. According to the Republican Study Committee, this American Health Care Reform Act creates free market solutions to healthcare, which helps by making competitions, meaning you can pick your own provider, pick your own doctor, and you can even buy insurance policies across state lines. Right now, as it stands, if you live in Louisiana, you can only get healthcare from a Louisiana company. You can't go and buy this rate from Allstate in Texas or this rate from whatever company over here in Oklahoma. It also helps to lower malpractice fees. Like the attorney fees are limited for malpractice fees, which keep the insurance costs down. It'll reform tax laws, so now you can, with this bill, your healthcare costs can actually be tax deductible. And pre-existing conditions, you can still get health insurance under this provision, even if you do have a pre-existing condition. And the federal government doesn't support abortion with this. Now that you know my second main point, let's move on to my third main point. Steps for the audience. In December 24th, 2009, the Senate passed their version of the Affordable Care Act. It takes 60 votes to pass the bill in the Senate, and according to VoteView, this bill received 60 votes and passed by one vote. On November 4th, Mary Landrieu will be up for re-election, and according to ASAD.com, Louisiana opposes the Affordable Care Act by 65%. You have a chance to get out there and go vote. Let your friends know, get informed on the issues, go out, and if you want to vote for Mary Landrieu and keep her in, do that. If there's another candidate, there's about 7 other people running, looking to see which one follows your beliefs closely. They can go out and make a difference for you in the Senate. In 2016, there will also be a presidential election that will help influence this. The time is now to take care of these issues. The Affordable Health Care Act will work to, it will repeal the Affordable Care Act, and it will replace it with the American Health Care Reform Act. This will help out individuals in the government. It will lower the cost for health care, and because it'll give you better tax write-offs, and you can pick and choose anything. It'll also help the government because they have less focus and spend less cost on personal lives, and they can focus more on things that are more important than medicine. The comparative advantage is that the Affordable Care Act has less options and more costs, such as an excise tax on it. The RSC plan has more options and less cost because you can write off the cost. The Affordable Care Act means more Americans will be fighting for fewer doctors, and the American Health Care Reform Act means that you can choose your doctor because of the plan that you choose. Public policy has several debates, several things to get it right. And at the end of the day, if you get it right, something worked. But usually you don't get it right in one sweep. We have a chance now to get it taken care of. My 3 main points was, first, that Obamacare is a failure in policy and dangerous for America's future. My second main point is that another plan is being considered that is gaining steam. It's the American Health Care Reform Act. My third main point is that the alternative plan works and benefits America as a whole. America is in a critical situation in debt, and the government's focus is off. And now is the time to say to the government that we want freedom and elect those who have the beliefs that we want. As FDR said, it is common sense to take a method and try it. If it fails, admit it frankly and try another. But above all, try something.